We are at Jim's place in Coldwater, Michigan. We're going to watch Roibin Hamlet play versus Joseph Fee. Joseph is an APA 6, Roibin's an APA 3. They are playing 8-ball, and they are lagging for break. And they both do great lags, but Roibin wins that lag, I believe, and she will be breaking. So Joseph will be racking the balls up. I'm very excited to bring you the first match, the actual match that Roibin has played since we started working together on her pool game. She's getting ready to break, and one of the things we're working on with Roibin is getting her to stay in control of her body when she's breaking, and she's dropping that left arm, which is her shooting arm, quite a bit, and she loses control by doing that. But this was a very good break. She broke the balls up quite effectively, even though I would like to see her have a little bit better form, but a little bit better control, staying within her power, operating at about 70% of her power, and making sure that she hits the exact contact point she wants to, and that she's well controlled. It's more important to break accurately than it is to break hard. That means making sure you hit the head ball where you want to hit it, or whatever ball you're aiming at, and making sure that you don't put any unintended English on the ball. Now, Joseph is coming over to talk to Roibin. I think that she shot the wrong ball. She made a 2-ball in the upper corner pocket there, but then she shot at a 9-ball, and that would be a foul in APA. In APA, you have to take what you make, and she made a solid, so that means she has solids, and she contacted a strike first, so that's a foul, and it is Joseph's turn now with ball in hand anywhere on the table. As he should, Joseph looked the table over pretty good. He finally decides he's going to shoot this stripe up into the lower right corner. And he does so rolling out. He can now get on the stripe going up into the upper corner pocket. Or the one to the lower left. He chooses that one. And now he's going to shoot at that stripe that's near the spot, on the foot spot. And he had room to get it in the side pocket, but he caught the point, and it will be Roibin's shot. Now we get to Roibin, and one of the things I'll be doing here is critically analyzing Roibin, just both for her form, her stroke, her pre-shot routine, etc., and for her tactical play, because what we're trying to do is improve her game. Now she's doing something that she loves to do, which is to get down on that object ball and really look at the line carefully. This time she did get back and look at the line from the cue ball to the object ball, which is 10 times more important for her to spend time on as she sets up, and I think we're going to see that Roibin has improved greatly at that, but she still has a ways to go yet. But she pocketed that ball nicely. She rolled up by those 2 solid balls. She's going to have to deal with them. I don't know if they're wired to the corner pocket, but right now she's shooting at the 7-ball in the side pocket. And that's a pretty nice stroke. The tip did come up a little bit, but she stroked through the ball quite nicely. It looks like she does have a line to get to the 1-ball. And she finds her contact point, and now she gets back behind the cue ball, but she keeps coming back to look at that contact point and see how little time she spent on the cue ball path to the 1-ball. She does not spend enough time doing that. And we recently did a video on that when Roibin takes the time to stand back and look at the shot line. She makes the ball over 90% of the time. When she forgets to stand back and look along the shot line, she only makes it about 50% of the time. And I think that's what the problem was there. She found her contact point, went back to it again, then came to make the shot and really didn't spend any time looking at the pathway from the cue ball to the object ball. And she hit it too full. And hitting it too full is going to be the most common miss that amateur players have at the table. There's a nice cut shot by Joseph. He gets lined up nicely on the stripe there, but he was pretty straight, but he did have enough an angle to get up the table. But now he's gotten all the way to the end rail. That's real easy to do on this fast cloth on these little diamond 7-foot tables. There's a real tendency to overroll that ball among the better shooters. Now he's going to spend some time here because he's in a little bit of a pickle. I do believe the 5 ball's wired up to that corner pocket, so it's completely reasonable for Roibin to think about getting out here. And I think he was going after those balls because he saw that they were wired and he wanted to break them up. And he did roll his ball up by that corner pocket, so that puts him in a good position to get out if he gets to the table again. And he's very likely to get to the table again because he did mess up the 6 ball and the 5 ball there, so they were no longer wired. And Roibin is going to try and come off this 1 ball. The best thing for her probably would be to put some left English on that and see if she can run it up to the top rail and then back down for the 5 ball. She's still going to have to deal with those other 2 balls. And she really left her cue ball in not a very good position there. I think she's going to have to try and play safe. I came over to give her a timeout at this point, and that's probably what I'm going to try and tell her to do, is to try to get her cue ball over there locked up with the 6 and 5 and hopefully open them up a little bit. And then she wants to have the 8 ball between the cue ball and that stripe. The problem here is that if she doesn't tie it up enough with the 5 ball or the 6 ball, he's going to have a kick at that, which is pretty easy for an APA 6 to make. And if he kicks it firmly, he even can kick that and get position by coming off the rail, depending on where he starts from. So she's got to get that cue ball hidden behind the 8 ball and hopefully behind one of those other balls as well. She does a pretty good job of that, but he has this kick shot. There's no jumping allowed in APA, so he's going to have to kick off the end rail on the right, and he's going to, no, he's trying to kick off the side rail. I'm not sure what he wants to accomplish there. I guess he was going to try to kick it in the pocket. He did leave the cue ball in a difficult position for Roibin. I think her best bet here is to do a safety shot and try to leave him with a long shot on his stripe. We can't quite see what's going on here. I only have one camera on these players and I have somebody standing in the way. Didn't see what happened, but I think she tried to leave him long and probably succeeded in doing so. So he made an effort to kick that ball. That tells us that Roibin must have hidden the cue ball behind the 5 ball. If we can get, I think that's John Elkins standing there with his head in front of the table. And he moves along. And Roibin is considering her shot now. She has ball in hand. So she has an opportunity to get out here. She's a good enough shot to make all 4 of these balls. She's setting herself up, it looks like, for a stop shot. If she can stop on the 6 and get an angle on the 5, she could go up to the 3 ball, but it looks like she's trying to follow this ball. So she may be going 6, 3, 5. I can't tell. Yeah, she rolled up on that ball. She actually contacted the 5 with the 6. And so she didn't have the shot line lined up very well. And I'm going to go back and take a look at this now. You can see that she places the cue ball while she's leaning in from the side trying to see that line. She comes to the end of the table and never even makes an effort to stand back and see what the line is. And she just leans down on the shot. And now she's looking at her contact point, but not looking at the line from the cue ball to the object ball. And this is the reason that she does not have the line right. She never even looked at it. If Roibin can just do a pre-shot routine every time where she stands back and looks at the line that the cue ball is going to take to the object ball, her game would jump up and improve incredibly fast. She has a good grip, good stance, good stroke, but she often does not even make an effort to aim along the line that the cue ball is going to have to take to get to the object ball. Now Joseph quickly dispatches his 1 remaining ball and gets pretty poor position on the 8 ball. Let's see if he can make it. He hits that a little bit full. Roibin still has an opportunity here, although I don't think she got very good position here to get at the 6 ball. I don't know whether the 5 ball passes or not. You can't tell from here, but she's studying it quite a bit, so I assume that she's facing some difficulties here. So after studying it for a while, she's going to contact the 5 ball. Let's see how she does. A little bit of a jerky stroke, but did she get the 5 ball in between the cue ball and the 8 ball? I think she did. That's going to force Joseph to have to kick at the 8 ball. He has marked this lower side pocket. I'm not quite sure how he's going to get there. He certainly can't kick straight behind it. He's studying the line, but I'm not sure what line he's going to take. Okay, now it looks like he's actually going to kick across and try and get behind the 8 or bank it. I think it's a kick bank effort. He does hit the 8 ball, so he's safe. We're going to see whether Roibin can get at that 6 ball. I think she can, but it is a pretty tough cut shot. So she needs to get behind that cue ball and see the line that it's going to take. She walks in sideways and gets down on it without standing back and looking at it. She spent all of her time looking at the object ball line, and she came in sideways to the cue ball line. However, she did make the ball, and she does have an opportunity here. She can follow up on the 5 ball. She's concentrating on that object ball line again, and she moves over to get down on the cue ball. Okay, she stood back and looked at it this time. A nice stroke there. She had very little upper arm movement and just her lower arm, a nice pendulum stroke, and she pocketed that ball, rolled up on the 3 ball. Now she has kind of a tough situation because it is a cut, and she's in danger of double hitting that cue ball. And it looks like Joseph's going to try to find somebody to watch this shot because there's a high likelihood that she's going to double hit this ball. And so we got somebody over here to look at this shot. It is Jason Mahaffey, it looks like. But I'm coming in now, and I'm probably going to call a timeout here. She is jacked up on the shot, and that's what I'm doing. I'm calling a timeout. Those of you out there in APA land who hate to have that happen should lighten up. If your captain, especially if he's a higher level player, calls a timeout on you, you're probably doing the wrong shot. And I don't care how comfortable you feel with it. If you're in APA 3, that APA 7, if he stops you in the middle of a shot like that, it's because you're doing something wrong. And I see these comments all the time online where somebody says, don't stop me when I'm shooting. I have my way of doing it. Well, if your way of doing it has you stuck at an APA 3, then you need to stop and listen to what other people are telling you. There's nothing I like better than a timeout. I'm an APA 7 in 8-ball, but if somebody calls a timeout, they're probably going to give me some bit of information that they see that I don't see, and I'm going to listen to them. I can still do whatever I want to do. In this case, I'm not sure what our conversation was. I don't remember. But Roibin is still trying a jacked up shot. She short stroked it. I'm not sure if that was a foul or not. It looks like it was. She tosses the ball to Joseph, and Joseph is going to win this game by pocketing the 8-ball. You can see he marked his pocket there. You have to mark the pocket in 8-ball. Now we're going to have Roibin racking. Joseph will be breaking. They're having a little conversation there. A nice friendly exchange during the course of a match. And here we go. We're going to see Joseph's first break now. He's looks like he's going for a second ball break, which in APA, if you make that 8-ball, which he moved quite aggressively, if you make that 8-ball and don't scratch, you win the game. I think most rules in APA are designed to give an advantage to the lower skilled players. In this case, the 8-ball and the break gives the advantage to the higher skilled players. Most lower skilled players at let's say an APA 3 don't have a strong enough break to make that 8-ball. That is one rule, and I'm not one of those guys that bitches and moans about the APA. That's one rule I'd like to see changed. I don't think people like me who make the 8-ball quite often on the break should have an advantage over the lower level players. Now we saw Roibin here do a nice pre-shot routine where she did stand back and look at the line the cue ball was going to take from a standing position, which is what she needs to do on every single shot she ever takes for the rest of her life. But right now she's only doing it about maybe 30% of the time. And that is going to cost her dearly in her shot making capability and in her capability of getting position after the shot. Now here she's taking a look at the contact point in the 5-ball in the direction she wants it to take to the pocket. But she comes in from the side and kind of in a crouch position does get behind the cue ball, but she doesn't spend an appropriate amount of time doing it. She did pocket that ball. She shot it at a nice speed to get down here in the 4-ball. I'm afraid she got a little straight on the 4-ball, so it's going to be difficult for her to get position off of it. Perhaps she's going to shoot this 2-ball first. She takes a look at the 4-ball, back to the 2-ball. She's looking at the contact point. Now she comes over back to the 4-ball. I like that she's really spending her time to consider which shot to take, but she came down on this shot without getting the line very good. This often happens with a short, easy-looking, straight-in shot like this, that people spend less time on it. I think I always hear the words from Mark Wilson in my head, there's no such thing as an easy shot in pool, and you'll be surprised how often you'll miss a little shot like that because you didn't spend enough time and go through your pre-shot routine appropriately. Now Roibin's going to shoot at this 2-ball. And again, she's spending a lot of time looking at this contact point and the object ball path. She comes over to the cue ball. Foot placement is already in place. She placed that foot coming in from the side. She needs to get the line, then place the foot on the line. Now let's watch her stroke. We can see her elbow pretty good from here. And she did pretty nicely. She barely dropped her upper arm at all. Nice stroke. She made the ball, and that was a difficult cut shot. So that's great, Roibin. And she got her cue ball back towards the center of the table and is able perhaps to shoot this 5 ball in the side pocket. She does have a line on the 1 ball she's looking at now as well. She came back from lining up the object ball in a kind of crouched position. Now she's overlooking at the object ball again. Now she does stand back and look at the cue ball, then places her foot. That's exactly what we want to see. And she pocketed that ball, drew it back for the 5 ball. Beautiful shot, nice stroke. And she lined herself up properly and placed her foot properly to make that shot. Now this time, she's finding that contact point. It looked like she was going to come in from the side. There she is, finding that contact point again. And then she comes right in from the side, places her foot, and comes down on it without lining up the cue ball to the object ball. And now she's just moved her foot again without standing back up to look at the line. She does make that ball, comes down to the end rail. It looks like she does have a sight line to the 7 ball. Roibin is pocketing balls quite well. I would love to see her adopt a really complete pre-shot routine, and I think she's ready to propel herself up the APA ladder. Now we would like to see her hand above the cue stick from this position. She's shooting down on the ball a little bit. She pocketed that ball nicely. That was a tough shot. But she's got herself stuck on the 8 ball a little bit. So it's time for a timeout. We're going to talk about what to do here. The problem is when you're playing an APA 6 and he has 7 balls left on the table that are widely spread like this, his probability of getting out is well above 50%, maybe 70% or even 80%. He has a high likelihood of getting out on his next shot. And the reason is he has so many soldiers out there to use to position the cue ball. If he only has 1 or 2 balls left, it's harder for him to get out generally, depending on how they're placed. And most APA skill level 3 players don't realize that the more balls he has left on the table, the easier it is for him to get out usually. So she's going, I'm asking her to kick at that ball. And she's marked the pocket on the upper right corner pocket there. She needs a nice smooth stroke, and she probably needs to hit the center of the cue ball here, and that's the main thing when you're coming off a rail. Even a millimeter of English will throw that ball way off. She did pretty good there. Now, I only would have suggested that shot to her if there was no room for the cue ball to get through behind the 8 ball and kiss into the corner. So that meant the 8 ball was less than a ball distance from the rail. And it's okay to try a kick shot like that in that condition. But if there's any room for that cue ball to squeeze its way past into that corner pocket, you don't want to do that. So by kicking that ball nicely, Roibin was able to prevent giving ball in hand to her opponent. Now, Joseph has a pretty good layout here, though. He should be able to get out. He's an APA 6. He nicely brings that cue ball back to the center of the table. That's a place to go with the ball when you're in a position like that. It's safe to go to the middle of the table when you have your ball spread all over the table like that, and that's a great place to go. Now he's going to stop this ball, draw it back a little bit. He has the 9 ball. He's going to want to finish on the 10 ball, I think, or the 12 ball. I'm not sure which that is. The one that's parked right in front of the 8. That's the key ball that if he can stop on that ball or use that ball for his final ball, then he's got good position on the 8. Now, he doesn't have to use that ball, but that's something to think about when you're playing 8 ball, is to think about what would be the easiest way to finally get on the 8 after you clear these other balls, and that's something an APA 6 and 7 is always thinking about. Now, he's not going to do that. He's going to play this ball next, which is fine, because as long as he gets an angle on the other 2 balls, he'll be able to position himself to make that 8 ball. He put some inside English on that. You see how he reversed it off the rail by doing that? He's gotten all the way down table where he can make this side pocket shot. He has a high likelihood of getting out right now. He's shooting high in the cue ball. He's just going to drift forward. He wants to come off this ball. I think it's the 13 ball, aim for the corner, and he wants to get an angle on the 11 ball up into the upper corner pocket, if he possibly can. He's done that, and that's the best angle to get, where he comes off the end rail, and he's going to come float down here for the 8. And like I said earlier, when you're playing an APA 6 and you leave him 7 balls on the table, more often than not, he's going to get out with those balls. The more balls he has on the table that are spread out, the more likely he is to find a pattern that he can run out on. And that was a nice run by Joseph, a very good APA player who took advantage of the layout of those balls and found a pattern by which he could get out. So Roibin will be racking the balls. It's 2-0 in Joseph's favor. We're going to see him break for the second time. This time, I believe the first time he broke from the right side, trying to move the 8 ball. This time he came over to the left side. I'm not sure if he saw something from before or if he just likes to play from different positions. He did pocket a stripe down on this lower corner pocket, and so he will be shooting at a stripe. He'll need to contact a stripe. In APA, you take what you make on the break. If you make one of each, you have choice, but if you only make one suit or you make more of one suit, you do not have a choice. I think he may have been trying to carom that 14 ball off another ball. Whatever he was trying, it didn't work out for him, so he's going to be handing things over to Roibin. She has solids, and she's looking at this 5 ball up in the upper left corner. Now she's coming around, checking out the table. And I think she's made a decision. She's going to shoot one of these 2 solids up here in the far left corner. It looks like she's shooting at the 7 ball now. She'll want to draw this back a little bit. She did so, and I think she overdid the draw a little bit. But she has at least 1 ball she can shoot at, which is the 5 ball up in the upper left. But she is eyeballing the 4, so I guess she can see that. If she hits this 4 ball, she's likely to move those other 2 balls and open up another ball. Good chance to see her arm movement here. That was very nice, soft touch. She did not hit those 2 balls, and so now she probably has herself stuck. I think she has a cut shot on the 5 ball. She's lining up that shot now. Let's see whether she lines up the cue ball or not. She did get back behind it. I'd like to see her stand upright while she's behind it and place that foot on the line. I don't think she did that, but she cut it nicely in there. She's got such a nice soft stroke. She cut that ball and she got to the middle of the table. And folks, if you can get to the middle of the table, that's a great place to go when there's a bunch of balls on the table like that. She can pocket the 6 ball, she can pocket the 1 ball. From that position, the center of a table is almost always a safe place to get to. Not always, but if you have any doubts at all, put yourself in the center of the table and you may have an opportunity to pocket another ball. Now, she's spending a lot of time looking at that contact point. She does get back and find her line this time very nicely. Comes down, steps into the shot. Nice stroke. That was a nice smooth stroke with her tip finishing down towards the table. That's a pendulum stroke. That's what we want to see. I think all amateur players should be doing a pendulum stroke, because a full arm stroke where you're lowering your elbow is too complicated, and it takes too many shots to overcome the complexity of it. An amateur player can get better a lot faster by doing this pendulum stroke like she's doing, with a nice loose grip. What a nice soft shot. Roibin is improving so much. It's such a pleasure to see. I don't think she's going to last long as a 3 if she keeps shooting like this. Now we're going to do a timeout. And of course, we're talking about her problem ball here, I'm 100% certain, which is the 4 ball, which is hidden behind the 9. And oftentimes when an APA 3 or 4 finds themselves in this position, let's say they do find themselves in this position, and that's because they're running off their balls, and at some point they're going to hit a now what moment. Now what do I do? Because I see no way right now for her to get to that 4 ball from the 5 ball. So should she make the 5 ball, she will be stuck, and she will have to open up his balls. And as we saw in the last rack, if a APA 6 has 7 balls left or 6 balls left, and they're all open, well then he's probably going to run out. And so I probably advised her to not make this ball, but to park it by the pocket and bring the cue ball out off this end rail a little bit so that he does not have a shot at that stripe on the end rail. Let's see what she does. Well, she backs off the shot. I'm not sure why, although a person did walk into her line of sight there, and I think she did the proper thing then. If she felt like she got off the shot she was trying to perform a little bit, the thing to do is to stand back up. Now, I did not give her the advice that I said I was giving her. I think I gave her the advice, if you're going to hit this, hit it hard enough to get all the way down there to bump into the 4 ball. It does no good to just bump that ball into the pocket and not hit it hard enough to get all the way down there in the 4 ball. Now we're going to discuss the angle she needs to take to hit this ball, and I'm telling her to do a 3-railer here. And most people are surprised when I tell them that a multi-rail shot is easier than a single rail shot. Now it's the only thing she has in this case, but what she's going to do is try to hit this bottom rail, send it up by the first diamond by the upper corner pocket there, have it hit near the diamond on the side rail, and bump into the 2 ball, which she does, but she didn't hit it hard enough. That's not the 2 ball, it's the 4 ball, I think. Not quite hard enough, but she had the right angle and she hit that ball. So Joseph is going to have ball in hand now. And he's going to have to work his way around. The only pocket he has for that ball right there that he's going to shoot at now is the side pocket. So he wants to clear that as early as he can. And I'm guessing he's going to drift forward and try and get on this 11 ball, because it's a problem ball as well, because it only has this corner pocket that's easily navigable to. It does have the upper right corner pocket too, but he would have a hard time getting to it there. Now he's positioning the cue ball very well. He's going to draw out to the center, I'm quite sure. And there he can take his choice of the 9 ball or the 15 ball. I think he may be changing his mind. But again, when you leave an APA 6 or a 7 with an open table like this, you can bet they're going to get out most of the time. He drifted that into the corner off the side rail very nicely. Got position on the 15. He'll draw it back for the 14. And now he will be able to draw it back again or follow it up to the side rail. Get on the 9. You see he put quite a bit of right spin on it to get it to spin towards the center of the table. But he put so much on it that he contacted that ball. Left himself a little more difficult shot. But he drifts through that ball very nicely with some high and comes off the side rail. And now he has a relatively easy shot to pocket the 8 ball to go ahead 3-0. Now we'll watch Joseph break again, and let's see if he changes position. He's back to the right side there, going for that second ball break. He moves the 8 quite well, goes off that side rail. I saw a ball go in the upper pocket there, not sure what it was. But I see 6 stripes on the table, so one of them is missing. He's taking a look, I think, at this 13 ball, which is caught up on the corner there of the side pocket. Now, sometimes if it's close enough to that, you can drive it straight through. He's drifting slowly. I guess he had enough room to get it in. And he came to the center of the table and got on this 14 ball. Now, he has a couple of problem balls up there on the left side of the table. The 12 ball stuck behind the 4 ball. The 15 ball is not easy to get at. He might be able to get at it right now, and it might be wise for him to do that and draw it off that other solid there to break out the 12 ball, but he's not going to do that. He struck that ball quite hard, and he moved his stripe up by the corner pocket, but the 7 ball intervened, and the 7 ball owns that pocket now. And pocket ownership is a very important thing in 8 ball. With that solid parked in that pocket, he cannot easily pocket the stripe. So oftentimes you're going to see the higher level player use his ball to combo into that ball that's owning the pocket and bump it in, which he does. But he hit it a little bit hard. I don't know why he hit it so hard, but ended up sending his cue ball across into the corner pocket. So Roibin will have ball in hand. She now has a problem ball associated with that same corner where the 7 ball is, and that is that the 5 ball cannot go to that pocket. So she needs to be thinking about that right away while she has a ball in hand. The number one thing to be thinking about when you have ball in hand is, what are my problem balls and what can I do to get them in a position where they're helping me or clear them? Now, she's exposing a problem ball for her opponent. I don't like this shot. I prefer to see her get rid of her 5 ball problem ball. Instead, she's going to open this up. She's still going to have that problem, so she's probably going to hand him back an inning, and she is helping him right now. So you want to think very carefully about these things. I've drilled into Roibin that she needs to think about problem balls, but this is not the right problem ball to take right now because she can't get out very easily. Let's say at her skill level, she's not going to get out here, so she just helped her opponent by opening up a pocket for him for the 12 ball. And she got herself stuck where she doesn't even have a shot. So these are the kind of decisions. This is a tactical decision that did Roibin no favors. So let's now go from tactics to looking at her stroke. Well, I thought we had a good position to watch her arm there. Now we're going to be able to watch her tip. She's going to try and cut this ball up into that corner pocket. Now she came, looked at the object ball path to the pocket, and didn't do a terrible job of finding the cue ball line. and she got that very nicely in, but she lost the cue ball into this lower side pocket, which isn't surprising. It's real tough when you're cutting a ball that thin to control the cue ball. Just a little bit of difference, a 1/16 of an inch difference on how it hits that other ball, and you're going to have a scratch versus a safe cue ball. So that was just some bad luck on Robin's part. Now Joseph has ball in hand, and he's looking the table over. He doesn't have an easy table to deal with here. Joseph is looking things over to try to determine how best to deal with those two balls that are clustered on the left side of the table. He's decided to place his cue ball by the rail and pocket this ball in that upper left corner. He does so, and he got a little juice on the ball, a little right spin so that he could come off that rail and come out a little bit. He now has a nice line to get to this ball in the corner pocket, but he runs the cue ball into the 8 ball and gave himself a pretty tough position there. I don't know what he was trying to do there. Perhaps he couldn't really see the corner pocket for that stripe, so he wanted to run into those balls and see if he could get a little luck on the leave. But he does have a shot at the ball in the left-hand corner. And he's checking to see if that other ball will go past the 6 ball. Once he gets this first ball pocketed, he'll want to come off that 15 ball, I think it is, up in the left-hand corner. Go to the end rail, come off the side rail with a little right spin, but he misses the ball. And this often happens when you are trying to negotiate a difficult leave. You're splitting the power of your brain between two equally difficult things, pocketing that ball from that distance, and at the same time getting position for a ball that doesn't have a full pocket at the other end of the table by coming off that side rail, the end rail, and then the side rail. So Robin now has a puzzle in front of her, how best to play this. Looks like she's asking for a timeout. My friend John Steller, an APA 5, is giving her a timeout. And let's see what they come up with. She is aiming at this 5 ball. It looks like she's aiming at the left side of it. And she hit the side rail and went to the end rail, got the 8 ball in between the cue ball and her opponent's 2 stripes. I think that was an excellent timeout, and they did exactly the right thing, made it very difficult on the opponent. Now Joseph needs to contact one of these stripes. I think he's best off to just barely bump one. I think the pocket is pretty accessible for both balls. So if he can just move them a little bit and get to a rail, he should be okay. He missed them. This gives Robin an opportunity. She has 3 balls that are all makeable and that all have pockets. She just needs to sort out how she's going to go about doing this. So she's checking out this 5 ball, is it? The red ball, and it looks like it's makeable. That's the 3 ball. And so she has that scoped out, but she's going to get position on it from the 5 ball. I think that's pretty smart. If she plays this right, she can get on the 3, then the 6. It'll be a little bit difficult then to finish with the 1 because she's going to have to draw it back off that top side rail. She makes a nice shot there, rolls up a little bit. Now she can get on the one by just sliding that ball, stunning it sideways to her right. She could come back near the 8, get on the 1, and then shoot it and get over on the 6. I'm not sure that she's doing that, though. Looks like she's shooting a little bit high on the cue ball. Yeah, she followed it. That's an error, but it's an understandable one. That stun shot is difficult, and it's a little risky because she would be going towards the side pocket. Now she'll probably play safe here. Robin's got very good about judging when she should shoot and when she should play safe. And that is a really important thing to learn. So many APA 3s walk up to the table and try to figure out which ball they're going to pocket, and they don't even think about positioning their balls in order to improve their chances later in the game. Now we're going to have a safety battle here. Looks like they're going to be bumping these balls back and forth. Robin is a little indecisive here, but she finally settles on the 6 ball, and she's just going to bump it and double kiss it. Now it's reasonable to think that Joseph might have a shot, but it looks like he's going to play into this 15 ball and just continue to play safe. I would have liked to seen him move the 1 a little bit further there and make some clearance for his 15 ball later on. Is that the 15 ball? I believe so. If he made a little more separation between those balls, then he might eventually be able to get to it. And that's what he should be trying to do. But anyway, he's got those 2 balls locked up. So we're going to see another safety play here from Robin. And I really like her shooting the 6, not shooting the 1. Looks like she's going to go back to it. And she again double kissed it against the rail. One of the problems she has here is she's getting further and further away from... She's bumping her ball further and further away from that pocket. I'd rather see her hit the left side of it there and bump it out a little bit so that it's more in front of the pocket. And by doing it this way, she also left him a straight-in shot, even though he's not going to take it. Now, he did a better job this time of getting some separation between the 15 and the 1. That's exactly what he needs to do. If she hits the top side to the right of that 6 ball, she's got a high chance of scratching. So her best bet is to bump straight into it like she's been doing and just barely bump it. I would have liked to have seen her move that 6 ball out away from the rail earlier. She had 2 opportunities to do that, but she's kind of stuck now doing the same thing again, which is to barely bump it. She did hit the top side of it, but she did it so softly that she wasn't at risk of scratching. She's actually in a better position now, and she's gotten the 6 ball an inch or so off the rail, and that's a big deal. Anything you can do while doing a safety shot to improve your chances of making that ball later on, that's a good thing to do. I love these kind of games, these safety battles like this. I do think he's going to try and lock this 15 ball up with the 1, which I'm not sure is to his advantage. He did try to do that, but he's left the 1 exposed now. There's actually a possibility of her getting on both of these balls now. She can make the 6 ball. She can go up to the center of the table. Now, the 8 ball is likely to be in the way. If she could roll forward a little bit, and it's hard to tell from here if she can, she could get up above the 1. I don't like this kind of crouching behavior she's gotten into lately. I'd rather see her stand up. If she needs to reposition her eyes, stand up, place your foot on the line, and then come down on the shot. It's really important to get the perspective from above the table. You can see that line. Then you can place your foot. Then you get down on the shot. As she steps back like that, staying crouched down, she's not getting a new perspective on the shot, and she's not able to place her foot properly. Now, once Joseph got a shot at a ball, he was able to position the cue ball very nicely. He's going to mark his pocket, and he has a fairly easy shot to the side pocket for a guy with his skill level. And that's game 4, and we will see Joseph break again. Interesting, Joseph is setting up on the right side of the center spot now at the head string. He's aiming at the head ball. He breaks it up. They scatter pretty nicely. The 12 ball almost goes in, but he didn't quite make anything. I think it's really interesting if you watch Joseph's breaking here. Robin won the lag, so she had the first break, and Joseph's won every game since, so that's 4 more breaks. And here's his first break. He broke second ball break from near the right rail. Second break, he broke left of the head spot, hitting the center ball. The third time he went back to the right rail, doing a second ball hit. And with the fourth break, he went back to the center of the table, but this time on the right side of the head spot instead of the left. Very interesting. I'd like to talk to him sometime and find out why he moves around so much when he's breaking. Maybe he's just not familiar with these tables. I have not seen him around before. I think he's new in at least league, at least here at Jim's place. Now, Robin, as she loves to do, is spending a lot of time finding that contact point in the line to the pocket, but doesn't spend as much time getting on the line to the object ball, from the cue ball to the object ball. That line is the one she needs to spend the most time on. The line that the object ball is going to take to the pocket is a result of the shot. But the shot itself involves sending that cue ball from its position to contact the object ball, and she needs to spend a lot more time on that. Now, Joseph is moving very crisply here. It looks like he has a plan. It looks like he has a pretty good layout here. All of his balls are pocketable somewhere. I think he'll be drawing this back and bumping into the 1. Oh, that was the 9 ball, I guess. He's moving quickly and crisply. I think he feels like he has an out here. A little bit hard to see at this point. There's a little bit of difficulty here. I think he's going to want to roll up and follow this up a little bit and shoot into the side pocket probably. He wants to get right on that first diamond, just out a little bit from that first diamond. That should give him a good line to the pocket. Well, he's not. Oh, I didn't see that other stripe there. That was very nicely done. He got on the stripe. I think he does have a pocket up in that upper corner pocket. I think it goes past the 3 ball. If it doesn't, you'll probably see him putting some action on the cue ball. He rolls forward, and so that means he does feel he has a pocket for it there. He takes his time with this shot, pockets the 8 ball, and wins the game and wins the match 5-0. But I have to say, Robin played very well. She pocketed some difficult shots. She made safeties correctly when she needed to. And she played very well. She told me afterwards she thought it was one of the best matches she ever played. And I agree. She's making great progress. If we can get Robin to go through a full pre-shot routine, stand back and assess the line that she needs to take with the cue ball to the object ball, and do it as carefully as she does assessing the line from the object ball to the pocket, which is much less important. I've said that 50 times, but I'm going to keep saying it. If she does that, if she incorporates a full pre-shot routine, she's going to move up very quickly. Nice job, Robin.